You're now listening to the Art of Reinvention show hosted by your boy TeflonJohn, where my goal is to change the world one person at a time by provoking thought. And you're now in the right place to receive motivation, inspiration, so you can make it throughout your day, so you can make it throughout your week. And so like I said, I just want you guys to sit back and just absorb all the content. And as I always say, one love, be blessed. Hey, what's up? It's your boy TeflonJohn coming to you courtesy of the Art of Reinvention podcast show, where my goal is to change the world one person at a time by provoking thought. And all I do is try to motivate and inspire, just try to give you guys a different perspective on your situation. And right now, if you would like to support the Art of Reinvention podcast show, all you simply have to do is just share this episode or share my website. And that's www.IamTeflonJohn, and that's John spelled JOHN.com. And you could also donate to my Cash App. And my Cash App is IamTeflonJohn. Again, that's John spelled JOHN. And I would just like to thank you guys for just tuning in, just being here. And today we're going to talk about being intentional. Being intentional. It's not going to be a long podcast, but this is going to be something that hopefully will help you. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully this will help you. And we're really focusing on being intentional because, by everything and, everyone's talking about a new year and, just different ways of actually going about things. You actually want to not confuse activity with productivity. And sometimes this can be hard for someone that's trying to be more productive per se as a goal, because a lot of times you're just like happy that you're doing something, but you have to ask yourself, is what I'm doing, or the activities, are they getting me closer to my goals, and are they meaningful? And what I mean by that is sometimes I can record so much content, you know what I mean? So many videos, so many podcasts, get so many blogs written, but what is the ROI on that? What is the return on my investment? My investment is my time, but is it feeding the brand? And part of what we don't realize as creators and influencers is that we must feed the brand. The brand will starve if we don't feed it. And you have to find ways to monetize. You have to find ways to bring back to your ultimate goal, which is to make money. And I just say it lightly because sometimes we record videos, for example, motivational speakers will record video after video after video after video, which is good for your cold audience, right? But when you produce content and you have a warm audience where they know who you are, they know what you do, now we can record content that's purposely meant to bring back people that are interested in booking you for speaking engagements. So we have to think about it that way. Like, well, how can I shape and craft my content that will move somebody to book me for an engagement? And if so, do I have enough information in my call to action where they can get in touch with me? And so you have to think about it like that. At one point I was recording posting 5 videos per day, and none of those videos had a call to action where you could actually book me. And let's say if you were feeling the content and it was burning hot to the point where you're like, man, I like this guy. You know what I'm saying? And realize that we live in a time where everyone has a short attention span. So if somebody comes across your content and is burning hot and they're identifying with it, sometimes they want to get in touch with you right then and there. They want to send you a message. They want to book you, because what happens is they'll go about 6 more hours of their busy lives and they'll forget about you, or they'll forget your name, or they've had too much time to think about why they shouldn't book you or who else they should get. And so what I want you guys to realize is that set up and craft your content, right? Set up and craft your practices, set up and craft your workouts with the end game in mind. And that's why this year I've slowed down. I haven't did a lot of content coming out the beginning of this year. I've been taking old macro content and breaking it down to micro content just to kind of stay relevant. But what I've been really doing is switching up my game plan and switching my approach to how I record and handle content. And I really want you guys to really grasp that fact, especially business owners, really grasp the fact of social media is really the playground for attention. As everybody wants to be the king of the sandbox. And what happens is there's so many people, there's so many eyeballs, there's so many lives on social media for a business owner. But we're not crafting content. And when we do craft content, it's not with the consumer in mind. We're just telling you about the product instead of telling you the problems that the product can eliminate for the consumer. And I think we have to be very careful when we're doing content, because a lot of times, like I said, we don't have call to actions, we don't ask for email addresses, and we're not really capitalizing on what we should. Now, in the regular life, if you're not a content creator, let's say if you want to lose weight, let's say if you want to, just become a better person, what actions can you take that are measurable? You know what I mean? Like, you can go home at the end of the day or at the end of the week in your journal and actually measure how good you've become, because you got to realize, like, don't just read a book every day or read a book, so many minutes out the day. You want to read a book with a purpose in mind. Like, what am I getting from this book? You also want to try to establish what is this book going to do for me, and what do you want out of the book? What do you want out of the networking event? What do you want out of the relationship? Because many times our expectations are really jacking us up because we're not getting where we need to be in life and getting where we want to be in life because we're not being intentional. We're just doing a lot of stuff. You're not realizing that we have to look at, okay, if I'm going to the gym, right? We have to put an end goal in mind and put a date on it. What date do I want to lose 5 pounds by? What date do I want to lose 20 pounds by? Because if we continuously do that, all right, over a course of 60 days, over a course of 90 or 120 days, we would have lost our weight slowly and met our ultimate goal. But sometimes we fall in love with the activity we're just doing and doing and doing, that we forget how the process equals up, like I said, measurable achievements where we can say, okay, I have gotten better. I have reached a plateau, or I have reached a certain point in my journey. Because you got to realize that when you're going after anything in life, when you're going after dreams and goals, there's going to be a lot of hindrances. There's going to be a lot of stumbling blocks. But you really have to sit back and focus on what is the activity that you're doing. What is it doing for you? When I put out this podcast, who am I trying to get it out to? What is the purpose of it? Why am I doing it? And usually that kind of crafts the content and controls how I post it. That controls the hashtags. That controls how I'm going to share it, the platforms that I'm going to put it on. So you really need to think about that. If you want to improve your marriage, think about all these small actions. Don't just buy your wife or your husband something just to be buying it. But why are you buying it? Like, did they have a bad day? Are you trying to comfort them? Are you trying to show them love and affection? So you really have to get there, because sometimes we have a lot of empty activity. You know what I'm saying? It's empty activity where something's being done, but there's no meaning behind it. There's no connection behind it. Thus, we don't get the results that we want, or it takes us a long period of time. And so we really need to think about that. How can I be more intentional this year? Think about it. Now, I call it putting down the machine gun and picking up a sniper rifle. So I'm going to shoot less bullets, but I'm going to hit more. I'm going to hit targets, and I'm going to hit it in the critical spots. So I'm not going to be doing video after video after video after video after video. I may do that for my stories or something like that. I'm not going to be just putting out content after content. I'm going to put out content. I'm going to make sure it's good. And then I'm going to make sure that it has a call to action with it, and it has some type of purpose. You see what I'm saying? Because we can't just fall in love with being busy and we're not getting towards our goal and where we need to be. And if you're not getting where you need to be, just make sure that you really sit back and start planning out your day. You really sit back and start saying, okay, what am I trying to do? Why am I trying to do it? And are the actions, are the plans I have set up for the week, is that going to get me closer to where I need to be? So when you look at your planner, when you look at your schedule, when you look at your Microsoft Outlook calendar, are the meetings I'm scheduling, are they getting me closer to where I need to be? Or am I just staying busy doing nothing? Are the people I'm hanging around, are they getting me closer to where I need to be? Or am I just busy doing nothing? So you got to really think about that. So my challenge to you all for this week is to really think and sit back of how can I be more productive? How can I be more productive? I really want you to think about that. How can I be more productive by being intentional? And that's just it. That's, today's podcast episode. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I told you it wasn't going to be long. I got Teflon Radio coming soon. I'm going to be working on it. It's going to be coming on the Live 365 app. It's going to be hot. And I just want you guys to support. And if you want to support the Art of Reinvention podcast show in the I Am TeflonJohn brand, all you have to do is simply share my content, whether it's videos, whether it's this podcast, just share my content. And if you would like to donate to the I Am TeflonJohn brand, you can cash at me at I Am TeflonJohn, and that's John spelled John. And as I always say, one love, but it's your choice to be blessed. We would like to thank you for listening to this episode of The Art of Reinvention by TeflonJohn, and we encourage you to share this episode across all your social media platforms. And we also encourage you to visit our website at www.imteflonjohn.com and follow us on all our social media platforms at facebook.com/realteflonjohn, twitter.com/realteflonjohn, and instagram.com/realteflonjohn. And while you're on Facebook, go ahead and like our page so you can receive first-hand notifications every time we go live with the motivational video or any motivational content. And as I always say, one love, be blessed.